Wait, hold on, that down. We have one more friend, family, closest brother, best man, of course. Round of applause to Robert! Yeah!
Спасибо, Slav. Как дела? That's all the Russian I'm gonna do. Спасибо, yeah. So, my name is Robert Mathai. I am Austin's best man. Most of you will remember me as the dude who spoke before Igor. So, when I was preparing for this speech, I was thinking about my relationship with Austin and Emily, and I realized that Emily was going to have no shortage of people speaking about how wonderful and amazing she is. So I took it upon myself as a law student at the University of Virginia, which, yes, a public school, but, you know, it's still a law school. I figured I should defend my client. My client here is Austin. So while the focus of my speech will be speaking to Austin as a person, that's mostly because I don't really need to speak to Emily because Igor, again, is going to do that, and everyone here knows how awesome she is already. So the theme I'm going to be hitting is there are 3 G's when I think of Austin. Yes, roll your eyes, that's fine. I have the microphone, it doesn't matter. The 3 G's that describe my relationship and understanding of Austin are genius, grit, and grace. Now, let me begin. The year was 2015, and I had recently moved down to Washington, D.C. I had no friends, but I did have, as a recent Tufts graduate, a friend, Paula Cates, who is one of the bridesmaids here tonight. And I went to catch up with her at drinks at Golden Brown Delicious, a wonderful bar that has absolutely closed. And we were catching up, and she said, I have some friends who are going to be coming by. Is that okay if they join us? And I said, sure, yeah, I don't really know anyone in this town. Why not? And has anyone here ever fallen in love? I mean, has anyone here ever really fallen in love? No one? Okay, well, let me tell you. This dapper young AEI research associate walks into the room, sits down across from me, and I immediately start screaming at him about, I don't know if it was politics, I don't know what it was, and for the next 2 hours, we're shouting at each other. I'm shouting at him, and he is calmly listening in a way that I think everyone here can relate to, nodding his head, saying, that's really interesting, what about this? Which only infuriates me more. Because I realize this man who I've just met is far more intelligent than I will ever be. And this is the first time I've met him. And throughout my relationship with Austin, I, like many of you, thought of him as a genius. I don't know any other political scientists, undergrads who take linear algebra for fun on the side and choose to learn how to computer program. That's just not something most of them do. But he worked and he learned and he spoke so intelligently about topics from philosophy to theology to economics. I wasn't really surprised when his brilliant partner at the time, Emily, got into Stanford Law, and I wasn't surprised that he got into a PhD program at Stanford as well. I wasn't surprised when he got into Stanford Law, and yeah, he's a big deal. He's getting 2 degrees from Stanford. I mean, it's a little bit double down, but fine, you know, it's pretty gosh darn impressive. But when I say genius, I want to make sure it's clear I'm not talking about luck, and I'm not talking about flukes. See, Austin was not born super intelligent or anything like that. I'm sorry. This is gonna come off a little bit awkward, but Austin is not that smart. Like, I'm sorry. It's gonna come, let me explain. He's not a genius in the traditional sense. What he is the hardest working person I've ever met. Austin has grit. That is what defines him. Austin works harder than anyone here. I know I'm so much smarter than he is, and I have done way less with my life. Trust me. I can tell that Austin has grit because he was my best man not once, but twice. Let me explain. The year was 2021. COVID was still a thing, as it is now, maybe. I don't know. And so we decided to have 2 weddings. And Austin, as my best man, didn't blink. He never complained. He only calmly said, "What can I do next to help?" He only tried to help us out by doing the work. So while we all want to think of him as some lucky, brilliant guy who just gets it naturally, he actually just puts in more hours than we do. When I have a bad day and I wake up and it's 9 a.m. on a Tuesday and I'm trying to figure out, like, what do I do before this law school class, I would call Austin, and it would be 6 a.m. on the West Coast, and he would be on his morning run, which is crazy to me. I don't know why he's running at 6 a.m., but that's what he would be doing. He just worked harder than me and the rest of us. And so now I want to go to Grace. Now, Grace, without going into Jesus or anything magical, we can just all agree that there's something kind and true and wonderful about Austin and Em. But I want to talk about the second time I met Austin, or rather that I hung out with him. It was a few weeks after the first time I met him and screamed at him in a bar and he calmly nodded at me. It was in September of 2015. I shot him a text and I said, "Hey bro, I got your number from Paula. Do you want to grab drinks or something?" And he said, "Sure." And I said, "Let's do Elephant and Castle." And he said, "I don't know where that is, but let's do it." He didn't really know who I was. He agreed to go to grab drinks with me. And while we were there, we started chatting. And I said, "Hey man, do you want to grab some cigars with me?" And he looked at me and, does anyone here know that, I don't know if you guys know this, but Austin likes cigars, right? Has anyone heard that? Yeah? Yeah? I get a few claps? Okay. Yeah, you're welcome. So he had never had a cigar before, and I'm sorry, Christy, but I was the first one who made him smoke a cigar. I asked him, "Look, will you smoke a cigar with me?" And he looked at this random guy who he was hanging out with for the second time, and he said, "Sure, I'll do this brand new thing I've never done before with you. Why not?" So we went to the Edmund Burke Park in Washington, D.C., and we proceeded to have a nice cigar. And while we were there, I said, "Austin, I want you to know this. This is the anniversary of my father's death. Every year, I smoke a cigar to commemorate him and to think and relax. Sometimes I do it alone, sometimes with my family, but I felt like this was a new city, a new place, and I needed a new friend." And Austin calmly took in all of this really intense, ongoing friendship that was one way, and he smiled, and he listened. And he listened with kindness and generosity in his heart. And he listened with an open mind and full lungs. So full, in fact, that he may or may not have gotten sick off of said cigar. Austin, you listened to me talk, and you eventually opened up with me, and we bonded about our views on life, on love, on relationships, and I've never met someone more kind and more caring. So now, let me bring it to relationships. While I may have just said Austin is not a genius or not lucky, there is one part of him that is very lucky, and that was when he noticed Emily Goldenberg, and he decided that this was going to be the woman for him. That was genius. But it did not work out so easily. In fact, grit comes into play here as well. Because while I love the guy, we can look at them both. Emily can have anyone she wants. And I mean, seriously, she is beautiful, she is intelligent, she's got it all going on. And I love Austin, but man, the hair is just, I'm kidding, it's beautiful. Austin, you put that same grit that you put into just meeting me, a random guy, you put that into your relationship with Em. You stuck it out. You made it work, you moved across cities, across graduate schools, across graduate degrees within the same graduate school, which is ridiculous and super impressive. I'm humble bragging on your behalf. You put that effort into your relationship with Emily in the same way you put that effort in with your mother and your sister and with me and everyone here. I know that your father used to say that he wanted you to work with your head, not your hands. But I think you work with your heart, and I'm serious. I've never met someone who cares so much about everyone around him. And Emily, I know you share that same effort, that same skill, that same gift, and I am so blessed to know you both and to have you in my life. So I want to say cheers, not to the smartest man I've ever met, not the luckiest man I've ever met, but the hardest working and best working man I've known, and to his incredible wife, who is his equal in every way. So cheers.
I'm just speechless. Hey, best man, he's in the back. So much love sharing with the guys, right? Don't be jealous. I know that feeling. They still gonna hanging out sometimes, right? You think about it. I get it. All right, so we have one more toast. Please welcome on stage stepfather